It's really lovely to meet you, and I've spent a few days with you. I've learned so much about the story of land, but what's your story and the connection with your land?
So my story started when I was a young child. I was 4 years old, and I was with my mom and my younger brother in Mali, while the rest of my family was in Ghana. We were there for just a few weeks because my mom needed to do some administration stuff. And one day she was out. I was with my younger brother, and the sister of my grandmother took me and practiced female genital mutilation on me, despite the fact that both my parents are feminists and were against it. So when I turned 19, I started being an advocate for women and girls because I couldn't stand the idea that other women could go through what I went through, and I wanted to do something about it. And so I've been, actively being an activist for women and girls' rights and against gender abuse. And slowly I discovered other forms of violence, and climate issues were strongly tied to also this violence. And because women and girls are the most vulnerable people on earth, no matter where they come from, and the impact of climate change was so heavy on their shoulders in parts of the world that don't contribute as much as others to pollution. This is something that brought me to become not just a feminist, but also a climate activist. And I'm from the Sahel, and I grew up in Mali and in Ghana, and seeing what has been happening in the Sahel, the forced migration, and all the different issues that are tied to climate change, I wanted to use my voice and do something.
Now, most people wouldn't connect environmental stories, the story of the land, with violence. Could you just expand on that a little bit quickly?
Well, when 80% of people in rural areas live from some form or another of agriculture, and their land have changed and they are not able to practice that in some kind of way, there is violence, that conflicts that come out, and there are so many issues like forced migration, people having to flee their hometown and trying to go to an El Dorado, either in a bigger city or in Europe, etc. And there's also the lack of education, and all of these are violences, because the basics that we all need, for them to be able to get access to that is an everyday fight. All the terrorist armed groups that have been abusing people in areas in the Sahel where there are problems with the land, like in the northern part of Mali and all in the Lake Chad Basin, with Boko Haram. So it's something that we've been seeing rise, and we can do something about it.
Now, it's interesting you say that, because you've come up with something I've never quite been able to grasp, NFTs.
Yes.
And you're using the power of that tech to help vulnerable communities.
Yes.
Just tell me about that project.
So the blockchain is, and NFTs are a very young industry. It is not perfect technology, but it's super innovative. And because it's the beginning, we can work towards shaping it and making it as sustainable as possible. And the fact that there are communities in this space that are coming together, we've seen it become so powerful, and it can have an amazing impact in real life. There is this idea of creating a DAO, which is community driven, and the decisions are made with communities. So what we do with Code Green is that we connect the Web3 communities with real life communities and finding solutions and supporting them, not just financially, but creating a real partnership that we can work together. So, as a climate activist, discovering NFTs, I had my questions like, what is the technology like? How is the impact of all of this, what is the carbon footprint, etc. And what I see is the innovation that it brings, and we are just seeing the beginning, but there is an infinite possibilities that we have to explore, and we also have to shape, of course, the technology to make it not harmful.
So how do you actually raise the money then?
By selling NFTs, but that is just one part. But by really harnessing the power that is in the communities, like coming together, voices coming together. And that is what Web3 is about. It's giving a voice to everyone that is here and the deciding possibility, voting possibility. And there is this giving back spirit that is super strong, and directing that spirit towards problems that we can see in real life, and supporting people who are living on the front line of climate change through innovative climate solutions. Or, in conflict areas, we've seen with Ukraine, some DAOs have raised so much money to help refugees that were fleeing from Ukraine. And
so when you say DAO, let me just stop you there quickly, because some people may not quite grasp. A DAO is a boat, isn't it? A type of boat. So this is a boat bringing sanctuary, savior. Is this the idea of it?
No, it's about
bringing hope.
It's more about decentralization.
Okay.
It's a decentralized system where everybody can be part of it if you hold, a token, and that gives you a voice to vote. And each DAO has their way of functioning. And what we are doing is that we want the DAO to be social. My ambition is to create, with the communities that we're working on, the biggest social impact possible from all across the Web3 space. So it's not just about one project. We are not, essentially an NFT project. We are an ecosystem that is working with different NFT projects, and our DAO, we want everybody to come in and be able to use their voice and to use, the fundings that are here into doing good.
And the figures are astounding. I cannot believe the amount of funds that your activities raise. I mean,
yes.
Just give me an idea of some of the figures and where that money has gone.
Well, some of the figures can be really surprisingly high, but also we have to know that it's cryptocurrencies and it's quite volatile. So,
but I like the idea. That it's using tech.
Yes.
You're using tech to help these communities, to empower them. And I think this is where a lot of the conversation is going, isn't it? How do you use tech? How do you use the virtual space?
Yeah.
Because in order to reach these communities, often that is one of the few ways, isn't it?
And also the fact that in some places the banking system is not functioning really well. It takes time. From wallet to wallet, it's almost instant. So there is also the funding part. To me, as an activist in the traditional way, this is an interesting way because there is a lot of transparency. Each transaction, where the money goes. So you can follow the money. And also, you can, just transfer the funds, and the organization or people who you are supporting gets them instantly. It's another thing to, convert the funds into fiat, etc. But it's a work in progress, and I like that because I'm a builder and I like to build, and this space is very new, and it's a space where, as a builder, you can have real impact.
And you've helped the likes of Ukraine, haven't you?
Yes, we did.
The Middle East as well?
Yes.
Africa?
Yeah.
Continent of Africa?
Especially with Code Green and a project that is the biggest women-led project called World of Women. We created an emergency fund that supported Ukraine, Yemen, Uganda, the Gaza and West Bank region, and Myanmar. And through those actions, this is just one thing that we could do, but there are so many other projects in the space that can support it. And with Ukraine, when the war started, it's really everybody came together to sell art, to raise funds, and to give it to organizations who are supporting refugees. So there is no limit to the good that art can do, and powered by a technology which is very exciting, not perfect yet, because there's not, I don't know an industry that is perfect, but we are definitely working towards making it better, for before it gets really mainstream. We want to shape the foundation so that it becomes stable and we can all rely on it. I feel like we are like in the beginning of internet, and we are at that stage with the Web3 and the blockchains.
Okay, so the Sahel region, let's just take a region obviously that means a lot to you. The Sahel, land, soil, restoration. Where do you start? What can you do? What are the solutions? What are the tools?
There are so many things to be done. I have focused the past 5 years and a half on the Great Green Wall project because it's a project that I strongly believe in. And I've traveled, from Senegal to Ethiopia, all along the Sahel. Living in this region will be supported. It's not just about planting trees, it's really empowering communities and helping them restore the land that can, support agriculture, support farming, rejuvenate everything. And so I really believe that if you give opportunities to people in the Sahel and in Africa, we will see the African dream being on the continent.
Can you really restore
Yes.
the ecosystem?
Yes, I think so. I think restoration goes with also changes in the other side of the world. A lot of people living on the front line of climate change and are bearing the brunt of, the consequences. And so what can we do? We all have a part to do because our modern life has created this, and so we all have to think about how we can make a change, a small change, a bigger change. And I think that empowering farmers, empowering community-driven projects is super important.
Do you know what? It's really odd, isn't it? Because many people say that's a problem that's taking place far, far away. Desertification doesn't affect me.
Oh my God, it does. It completely does, because we have just one planet. We have no other, unless you go on Elon Musk, his starships and go away, but that's not a possibility because we have just one planet, and there is this butterfly effect that every action has a reaction. And so we cannot just believe that because there are frontiers and borders that my action stops there. It doesn't make sense. So everything that we do can impact someone else. So the consequences are for us all to find solutions to it. And I hopefully will do a better job at educating people on...
You know what, that's interesting you say that, because what I've also picked up a lot of the time is that this idea of telling people what to do.
Yeah.
You will do this and that's what will solve the problem. I mean, does that work?
No, but we have to do some education. People have to understand what our lives cost, what are the footprints of what we are doing. It's not about making them guilty. It's about understanding, because there is a lot of misunderstanding and there is a lot of ignorance about climate. I mean, this is not something that is really taught in school. This is something that a lot of people want to know. A lot of people want to know, what can I do to contribute to make a change? What can I do to better, the space, the environment? Well, I do a lot of things. I support communities. I travel a lot, and I try to understand their living. I try to bring them also to become economic forces. And in my day-to-day life, well, I try to be as sustainable as possible, even though it's super difficult. I try to recycle as much as possible. Just small acts. I try to, offset my carbon footprints, but not the traditional, not the opaque carbon offsetting that we know that you don't know where the money goes. I try to, work with carbon offsetting companies that invest into people, because people are the essence of all. People are the most important thing. We have to keep them at the heart of not just the conversation, but the actions. So I try to do my best. I'm not a billionaire, so I cannot say that, honestly, that everything that I wear is sustainable, that everything that I do, because
It's that guilt,
costs,
isn't it?
it costs money. But we have to make that accessible to everyone, because we cannot just tell people, change your life. We're not going back. We're not going back to, Moyen Âge, as we say in France. We have innovations that we have to work with to, keep our modern life, but make it sustainable.
Okay, so we're not going back to the Middle Age. You are now a mum.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have your priorities changed when it comes? Do you look at the problem of your land, the land of the planet, differently? What are your hopes?
I won't say that it has changed, because I was already working towards this, but now more than ever, I will fight. I will really fight, because we want to give another type of planet to our kids. We don't want to ruin everything. And having conversations with, the other land ambassadors were super enlightening, because we are from different genders, but we are also from different ages and different backgrounds. And now more than ever, I know that my voice, not because I'm me, but because I'm taking the action, my voice counts, and everybody else. And people have to understand that they have a say in this. This is a collective effort, but it's also a collective power. And so we can do this.
Okay, so this is, obviously this is an international organization. These meetings are fascinating, and there is a lot of serious discussion and planning that is taking place in those halls and those closed meetings that many of us have no idea about, as we go about our everyday life. But you, luckily, with your voice, you can amplify what needs to be done. However, when you listen to the officials and the legal speak and the scientific speak, and you think, the lady at home, this is going to mean nothing to her. So how do you translate the technical to what matters on the ground?
I like to keep my foot in both places. I like to just wear my tennis shoes and go, on the field and work with people, or just listen to them, or, understand what is happening. And I like to be into those meetings because I know how
You're
to...
at the table.
Yes, I'm at the table, and we need people to be at the table that are from another space. We are not officials, but we are using our voice for the voicelesses, and we are the ones who, for now, are invited to the table. Hopefully the door will stay open, and the people who are the most concerned can also be part of it. But we speak for the voiceless, and we sometimes have to say, I don't agree with you, and I don't think that this is efficient, and I don't think that this is going to change anything. I hope so.
Yeah?
I hope so. Not always. I will not be listened to always, but hopefully I have a voice, and I will keep using it, and I will keep, raising it.
How has the climate story, the land story changed? Because a lot of people just don't get land.
Yeah.
They don't get soil, do they?
Yeah.
They think climate, the big overall picture, but they don't realise that climate, the soil, the land, they're all interconnected.
Everything starts with the soil.
Yes.
Everything, it either grows or not. It's so important that when you see the degradation of the soil, it changes so much in one's life. And when you look at the populations who are not able to grow anything, and all the issues that comes from that, and they have to either flee, they have to, it's so much that we have to start with the soil. We have to start with the land, and it's not just up in the air. The clouds are great, but they are not giving us food. The rain, obviously, but in some places rain doesn't even fall because the climate has changed so much. So we have to.
But I suppose by the time you get to desertification, it's late. It's too late, isn't it?
It is late, but we can always do something, to stop the desert from growing more, and we can do something to work the lands that have been degraded. We really can, and I think it's super important.
You are a musical artist. You're an actress.
Yes,
My
I am.
goodness. You're a mum. You're a daughter. You've seen the story within your family and the connection with land and how it's changed. What are your plans? What would you like to see?
I am in all of that, in all the different things that I do, either music or being an actress or a filmmaker or photographer or anything. I'm a storyteller, and I feel that I'm just a vector to share messages. It's not about me as a person, it's about a whole community of people. And it's not especially, I don't mean by community where I come from. It's really the voices of people that I try to deliver as much as possible. And also the ideas that I fight for, like gender equality, and really fight against energy poverty and everything that I can relate to also. But it's not about me, it's a much, much, much bigger story that is being told. And I'm just one voice. There are so many voices that are, speaking for people. And my plans is really to, we screwed up. We have to do something. Yeah. We don't have time to wait and see. And the issues that are happening, that the climate and, everything that is related to it is not waiting for us to find a solution. We have to find a solution now. We are getting late, and it's time to get out and do something together.
You're an action lady, yeah?
I am.
So when the door closes, the gravel goes down the meeting is closed, the convention is closed. In an ideal world, we all know what official meetings are like.
Yeah.
There are a lot of moving parts. It's not easy. But what would you like to walk away from here saying, yep, I tick that box, we're good, we're on the right path? What would you like to walk away with?
I would like to walk away by knowing that there will be action after the speeches. For some leaders, I know that there will be actions because I've seen them at work. And that's what excites me at working with UNCCD, because I've seen the actions. After 5 years and a half, I've seen the action. So I want all leaders to leave here after they gave us, the belief that they are going to do something, that the speeches are not going to stay on the paper, that it will, translate into something on the ground. And I am here also to keep everyone accountable. If you say something, it means that you mean it and you have to do something about it. And each one of us have the power to do our part, and they have the most power, they have the most funding, and let's work together. Let's do something. It's not the moment to point fingers, because we don't have time. That time has, it's behind us.
Past.
We have to run together and, share and collaborate into doing something. So the civil society is super important in that, because we will keep reminding them, gently, but also in raising our voices into, okay, this is what was said. What is happening? How can I help? How can everyone who wants to help do something and contribute? And hopefully we are involved in this for the long term. It's not just about mandate. It's not just about just a few years. It's the future generation that is coming, that we have to leave a good planet and a good system, because gender inequality is something that is happening everywhere in the world. And so these are issues that I'm really passionate about, and I've been for a long time now, and almost 15 years. And hopefully what my mom was fighting for in the 60s, my daughter won't be fighting for the same things.
That's the hope, isn't it? I look at my daughter sometimes, I think, I thought by the time you came into my life, that struggle wouldn't still be there, but it often is, isn't it?
It is, but it has to change. Something has to happen. We are not in the Middle Age, but still we are fighting for equality. Feminism is just equal rights for men and women. It's just so simple. But it creates so much emotion sometimes and so much pushback, that why wouldn't we all be equal? And you have gender, when you are at the intersection of also ethnicity, this is a whole other issue,
Save another interview for that one.
Yes. I've seen it, even as an activist, being a Black African woman is something that is always going to be put on the balance. And we have to keep fighting and keep opening the doors for other people to join the change making.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.